seconds to shut off the live chat, so give me a moment. Turn the record back on. Okay, now we've got 9 people in the waiting room, one of which is Deborah Davis.
We were there.
Good morning, Jordan. Good morning, Deborah. Let's bring these people in one by one, figure out who we're dealing with here. The first one is V34IU. Good morning, V34IU. Who am I speaking with? I don't know who that is. V34IU. We're going to bring in Jason Walden. Now, Jason Lytle. Cameron Hope. Christopher Scott is here twice.
Hey, turn on the volume. Right now, but I don't hear nothing.
All right, well, I can hear you. Mr. Scott, you got 2 things open. I'm going to close one of them. I'm going to close, hang up your phone.
Okay.
There we go. Thank you.
Like it's in a sci-fi movie.
Yeah, that's, well, we get in a loop. I got Darren, Cameron Hope, Austin Wallace. I'm going to take care of Miss Yancey and Mr. Reed first. They've only got 1 or 2 cases. And then, John, we're going to focus on yours.
Could you put me in a breakout room with Cameron Hope? I've not met him, so that would be a.
Well, I've met him. Mr. Hope, where are you? Cameron, I can't see you. Where are you? Oh, there you are. All right. Good morning, sir. I'll put you in a room with your attorney, Mr. Bush, so you can at least speak to him.
On that note, I wanted to say, before that even starts, I've had John Bush before, and like I was trying to see if I could not have him because.
Well, then hire an attorney of your own choosing.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna let you talk to him first. We've got Trevor Hewitt. Mr. Reed, I think you've just got Mr. Bedford.
I got Mr. Bedford, which we're going to set. Miss Davis and I have spoken on this. I don't want to speak for her, but I think we're either going to ask for an adjournment or just keep it on for the prelim docket. There's some things we're waiting on that we're going to.
Where is he?
He's not here. Is he not here?
No, he's not here.
No. I don't know.
DJ, I think your client is the V341U.
It very well could be. Is that Miss Phillips?
Yeah.
Okay.
It looks
I'll
like
talk to her in a breakout room to go over, Debbie, with what your email had said. I've not had a chance to talk to her since you
All
said
right.
that.
Who is that, Deborah?
that is Amanda Phillips.
All right. Well, Miss Phillips, can you hear me? I saw her reclining at table there. Miss Phillips, can you hear me? Give me a break. No, it's not capitalized. Good morning, everyone. You're here for pre-exam conferences. We have about 30 defendants. Some are in custody. Some are not here. So we've got multiple attorneys. Mr. Bush represents a number of you. So I ask you to just stay quiet. All right, Ms. Phillips, can you hear me? Ms. Phillips, darn it, I keep trying to change your name and it isn't taken. She looks like she's not well. Ms. Reed, Mr. Reed, have you met that client?
Where is she at?
Bottom right.
Bottom right for me. She's yawning.
There. Okay, now I got him. What are you talking
All
about?
right, Ms. Phillips, can you hear me?
So it's hilarious.
I'm going to guess that she can't hear you.
I'm guessing not.
Maybe kick her out so she can come back in.
Well,
Teach
she
you a
keeps
number for her.
flipping up. And I gotta rename her every time.
I'm gonna try to call.
Yeah, maybe just kick her out and then TJ can
All
call
right.
her. That's Amanda. Close enough.
Well, I can't spell either, so now I'll
Very
remove
close
her.
enough.
All right. Good morning, Luke.
Morning, Judge.
We weren't crazy, or you weren't crazy. You weren't in the wrong court. You were on the wrong day. So you were here. You were here yesterday. I kicked you out without realizing we were set for today, not yesterday. So, welcome to our gathering here. Let's see if we can take care of Miss Jordan Yancey and Larry Bowens. This is a possession of methamphetamine case. That's Jordan's only case for this morning. Mr. Bowens doesn't appear to be here. Is he in custody?
He is in custody, Your Honor.
What do you wish to do with that one?
I did speak to Mr. Johnson yesterday, and he did indicate he's going to check with Ms. Davis on a potential use offer on this file to get it resolved today.
And we are offering use.
So that will be a plea today, Your Honor.
All right. Jordan, I hate to tie up your whole morning. You're so accommodating. Let me see if I can get you on your way. Good morning, Deputy Chavez. Judge Middleton calling. We're going to need a number of customers this morning here for pre-exams, but Deborah Davis asked if you would bring in Larry Bowens.
Bowens?
Yep.
Yep, we'll come see you.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Bye. They're more helpful for you, Deborah, so I say.
Sometimes.
Luke, you have a limited parameter today also. Let's talk about your case. If I can find it. Austin Wallace. Then we have a sentencing on another case. Austin Wallace is here. Do you need to speak to that client?
No, Your Honor. We have
All right, well,
spoken.
let me call it. This is file 211244FY, People versus Austin J. Wallace. Charges breaking and entering. You don't see many plain old B&Es anymore. It's a felony punishable by up to 10 years imprisonment. Mr. Nossinger, what does your client wish to do here?
Well, at this point, I think we're going to leave it on for the preliminary exam. There's a couple things we need to sort out before then. But I have had contact with the prosecutor's office, and we've kind of gone back and forth. But at this point, we're going to leave it on for our preliminary exam.
All right, that would be next Tuesday, July 6th at 9 a.m. Mr. Wallace, can you hear me?
You mean at
Mr.
1 p.m.?
What?
If we're setting it for prelim, it would be 1 p.m., correct?
Oh, yes. I'm sorry, Deborah.
That's okay.
Mr. Wallace, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I can. Now, it's important that you stay in contact with your attorney, Mr. Nossinger. You know, his office is right there on Main Street. It's right now, it's going to be set for what's called a preliminary examination next Tuesday at 1 o'clock. Unless something else happens, it's your obligation to be here. We'll be by Zoom once again.
Alrighty.
So stay in contact with your attorney.
Your
All
Honor,
right?
based on his lagging video, I would request that if we are having the prelim, that he come to the courthouse and use the conference room if that's possible.
All right, well, that is possible. Luke, you either get a practice run with him and get a better video, or he can come in and do it live from the building.
Okay.
All right. Mr. Wallace, stay in contact with your lawyer. You're free to go.
All righty. Thank you. Thank you. Sir. Appreciate it.
Your
All
Honor,
right.
regarding
Yes.
Mr. Hewitt, I don't have him on my list, and I checked, and it looks like he's supposed to be on the pretrial docket, which means
Yes, he is, and he keeps coming in and out. So is he? He's not. Oh, there he is. Mr. Hewitt, can you hear me? Mr. Hewitt? Mr. Hewitt,
I think it's frozen.
it's cold out.
I can hear you just fine.
Oh, there we go.
All right, Mr. Hewitt, do you have something to write with?
Yes, sir.
We checked in a couple of times. We're on the wrong side. They're waiting for you for a pretrial conference.
No. I already talked to him, and he said that he was going to help me enter a plea.
All right, let me see if they sent me an email. There it is. Violating a motor vehicle code. All right, stay right where you are. You're in the right spot.
Okay.
All right, we got Miss Phillips again, we hope.
Man, I hope this looks quick. I hope this looks quick.
TJ, I emailed you back.
Did you? Okay, hold on. Must be lagging coming from Centerville.
Yes, that's the great use of bandwidth here in Centerville.
All right. If I could go into a breakout room with Ms. Phillips, I did speak with her, Your Honor. I think we have this resolved.
All right.
Can you hear us, Amanda?
Did you talk to her on the telephone?
I did. So that's when I hung up, I was able to talk to her just fine.
Well,
There she is, and she's muted, it appears. So there's her picture.
Okay, at least the mute sign is on now, so she
Right.
can. She should be good.
We're making some progress here.
Ms. Phillips, can you hear me?
She's mute.
All right, will you unmute your microphone? Ms. Phillips, can you hear me? Holy moly. Talk about somebody who needs to drive over here. Ms. Phillips, can you hear me? Amanda again. Ms. Phillips, can you unmute your microphone? Give me a break. I used to be able to unmute it from here. But Ms. Phillips, can you hear me? She clicked off again.
Well, she's here. I can still see it.
Can you hear
I
me?
can,
Oh,
yes.
We can barely hear you. Well, she was
You
speaking.
unmute your microphone?
Can you hear me better? It's not muted.
oh.
Yes, we hear you, Amanda.
You hear
It
me?
is,
Yes.
yes. It keeps muting itself.
Yeah, I'm not doing it.
Where are you?
I'm at Keystone.
All right, are you ill? Miss Phillips? Take off your pajamas and walk over here to the courthouse, and we'll put you in the conference room to transact our business. You're only about 3 blocks away from here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, I want you to come to the courthouse. I can't hear you or see you, and you're laying down in bed. I want you to come over here to the court, and we'll put you in the conference room, and we'll be able to hear you and see you. All right? I'll see you in a few minutes.
All right, I'm on my way.
All right. Mr. Hewitt, let's take care of you while we're waiting here. If I can find it. Thank you all for waiting. This is, where is he? TJ, any luck contacting Mr. Bedford? Mr. Hope is back. Jail is back.
I'm back, Judge Middleton. My bad. I'm sorry.
All right. Stay right where you are, Mr. Hope. All right, Jordan, let's take up your matter while we then deal with Mr. Hewitt in a moment. Are you Larry Ray Bowens?
Yes, Your Honor.
This is Judge Middleton. I'm over here at the courthouse. You're charged with possession of methamphetamine. That's a felony. It's punishable by up to 10 years in prison and a fine of up to $15,000. Prosecutor has agreed to reduce this to a charge of use of methamphetamine. That's a misdemeanor. It's punishable by up to a year in jail and a fine of up to $2,000. But it reduces it from a felony to a misdemeanor. Ms. Davis, is that your understanding of the plea agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
Jordan, you confirm that?
Yes, Your Honor. And in speaking with Mr. Bowens yesterday, he did confirm that is an offer we wish to accept today.
All right. Mr. Bowens, let me ask you this, and I'll tell everyone the same thing. Do you understand that by pleading to this misdemeanor charge, you'll be giving up your right to have a trial in front of a judge or jury? There will be no trial. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
If you had a trial, you'd have the right to be represented by an attorney. Ms. Yancey has been appointed to represent you. You could also hire an attorney of your own choosing if you wish. If you had an attorney, you would have the right to have any of the witnesses for or against you subpoenaed to come to court so they could be questioned under oath. You would have the right to take the witness stand yourself and testify, but you don't have to because you have a right not to testify. And if you did not wish to testify, the judge or jury could not hold your silence against you. And you have the right to be presumed innocent if and until the state was able to prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Other than this plea agreement, did anyone promise you anything to get you to plead to this?
No.
Or threaten you?
No.
All right. Let me look at this. The complaint says that this happened in Sturgis Township on February 6th. Were you in Sturgis Township on that day?
Yes, Your Honor.
And did you have some methamphetamine in your possession?
There was 2 pipes inside of my pouch in my backpack.
Inside his backpack, belonged to him. There were trace amounts of methamphetamine on those.
Yes.
They sent it to the lab. When did you get this? So did they arrest you that night or let you go?
The officer said that he was going to present these to the prosecuting attorney, and if they tested positive for methamphetamines, which he knew they would, that a warrant would be issued for my arrest. So I was arrested on this. I'm sorry.
That's fine. Now, I dealt with you back in 2017 on a retail fraud charge, and you didn't pay it. But you were from West Virginia. Where do you live now?
Your Honor, I was born in West Virginia, but I haven't been back to West Virginia since I was 5 years old.
I don't know why they had where do you live?
I live in Sturgis. Now, as of 3/20 of this year, I moved in with my now wife over on 215 and a half North Maple Street, apartment 2.
Did you get arrested in Elkhart County, Mr. Bowens?
Excuse me?
Did you get arrested in Elkhart County?
Yes, ma'am. I was with a friend and we were going to the store and her muffler was too loud, so the officer pulled us over. He did an NCIC on me and found out that there was a warrant for my arrest for altering a money order, but it was from a couple of years ago and there was no immediate warrant. It's just if they picked me up, then I would go answer for it. So I answered for that and I bonded out on that. And then
Well,
the warrant for discharge.
How long were you in jail in Elkhart?
I was arrested on the 11th of May. And then I bonded out on that charge 6/7/21. And then I was waiting for this county to come pick me up. I've got about 23 days in right now.
Well, you've been in our jail for 15 days.
Your Honor, it appears that he got picked up on the 9th is when the extradition proceedings were filed in Indiana. So it looks like from the 9th until the 14th was in Indiana and then came up here.
Well, he says he was arrested on May 11th.
In Indiana.
Yeah. I don't have my paperwork with me on that. I was going to bring it with me, but
All right.
yeah, I'm a little off on the date.
20. All right. Well, did you get arrested in May or June in Indiana?
May.
All right. That's 20 days in Indiana and 29 days. You've been in jail for 49 days.
He's still on bond for that felony in Indiana. It is pending. He posted on 6/11.
Yeah.
I'm out on bond on that, and my next court date for that is August 4th at 1:15 in Goshen.
All right, I'm going to give you 50 days jail, credit 49. That will probably call it good. $75 crime victims' rights fee and a $50 state minimum fee and a $150 attorney fee. That's $275 due by July.
July what?
$275 by July 31st.
31st? Okay, I should
For
be able to have
2
that
small
paid.
pipes worth of methamphetamine. I don't feel the need to put you on a probation when you have an Indiana charge pending and you've been in jail a total of 49 days on this charge. So we'll call it 50 days, credit 49. They'll probably give you a day of good time credit.
Your Honor, is there any way I can ask for a non-reporting probation here? Just so I can keep my act clean.
Well, you're on bond in Indiana. I appreciate your willingness to do that, but I'm just going to let you go to Indiana and take care of your charges there. There's no sense to do a non-reporting probation. You're on a bond, which prohibits you from doing the things that a non-reporting probation would do. So,
Right.
So you're good to go.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
So,
Laura, would you look in my stuff on my desk and see if Trevor Hewitt's file is in there and among that pile of stuff? Thank you. Jordan, is that all we have for you this morning?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. I'll see you again.
Thanks, Jordan.
Mr. Reed, any luck with Mr. Bedford?
No, he's not here. I don't know. He's not here.
Again, now these new face sheets I have don't have a name or number. I'm not sure what happened. Miss Phillips apparently hasn't made it to the courthouse yet, so we'll set her aside.
I did speak with her. It's going to be a plea when she gets here, Your Honor, to disturbing the peace.
All right, very, very good. All right.
A number for Bedford? I can send you the one he had when he booked into jail.
You can send that to me. I've got one here that I had correspondence with him on.
3247, the last 4 digits.
Hold on. Send it to me via email.
Sure.
Thank you.
All right.
You're welcome.
Mr. Bush is back. Cameron Hope is back. And Mr. Hope had expressed some concerns
No,
It's not in there?
No.
Then I have it here somewhere in front of me. Mr. Hewitt, I haven't forgotten you. We'll find your file. Mr. Bush, did you reach any consensus or progress with Mr. Holt?
That matter can be set for preliminary examination.
All right, Cameron, you're charged with carrying concealed weapon, possession of a firearm by a felon, and resisting and obstructing. They didn't charge you with felony firearm. Having a firearm during R&O probably would include that, but are you still at your grandmother's house on 6th Avenue?
Yes, sir.
All right, I'm going to set this for prelim. July 6th at 1 p.m. So far, that's 2. You did a good job of logging in. All your bond conditions remain in effect. Are you still on probation?
No, sir. No, probation for years.
All right.
And so that Mr. Hope is aware, for the record, charges can be added at the time of preliminary examination. I will be looking over this case carefully in preparation. And if we have the prelim, there may be no deals offered in circuit court.
All right, that's something to consider. All right, Mr. Hope, you're good to go.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, let me go on a treasure hunt here for Mr. Hewitt's file. Here it is.
John, have you spoken with Christopher Scott?
Yes, I have. I sent you an email on him.
All right, Mr. Hewitt, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
You're charged with driving suspended first offense and impeding traffic. The prosecutor has agreed to dismiss the impeding traffic and the driving suspended for a plea to another charge known as allowing another to violate the motor vehicle code. I'm sure, as they explained to you on the other side, that carries no points, no longer ever did carry a driver responsibility fee, and it doesn't get abstracted to your license. Won't affect your ability to keep or maintain your license. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Other than that plea agreement, did anyone promise you anything to get you to plead to this
No,
or threaten you?
no.
All right. Were you driving a car here in St. Joe County on May 27th?
Yes, sir.
Was your license suspended at that time?
Yes, sir, it was.
All right, that carries a $100 fine, $75 crime victims' rights fee, and a $50 state minimum fee. That's $225. Can you pay that by July 31?
Yeah.
All right. I see you're by a motorhome or something. Where are you staying?
I live in Kitchewana with my buddy.
All right. We have that address.
Uh,
I had a Gateway Court, Apartment C. Where do we send your mail?
yeah, it's not my mailing address. The other guy changed my mailing address. That's in Baroque.
All right, but if I send it to Gateway C, will that get there?
No, I won't get it.
But they did it.
I almost missed this court date because she sent my mail back. I didn't get it.
All right. So did he get your correct address?
Yeah, it's
right.
Baroque. That's my mailing address.
All right, we'll send it there. $225 by the end of the month. This won't affect your driving privileges. Stop driving till you get things squared away, okay?
Yeah, I just paid off everything yesterday, and now I can go get my permit again. So I'm gonna do all
Very
that.
good. All right, very good. All right, you're good to go. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, now we've got Trevor Hewitt will be released. We got Amanda Hugginkiss or Amanda Phillips.
Knew you were
We
gonna
got
make that joke.
phone
See that
number.
last name, dude. Huggins.
All right, let's see who this is.
She got beat up a lot.
Oh, who's talking?
We'll find out here in a minute. I think Mr. Scott, we're gonna deal with him. And Miss Phillips, I don't know what the deal is with that table upside down. Could you take your mask off? Good morning. Just stay right where you are. All right, after some considerable struggle, we have People versus Amanda Nicole Phillips. That's you?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Phillips, your attorney, Mr. Timothy Reed, is here with us, as is Prosecutor Deborah Davis. You're charged with possession of methamphetamine. That is a felony punishable by up to 10 years imprisonment. The prosecutor has agreed to reduce this to a charge of use of methamphetamine, disturbing the peace. Is that correct, Ms. Davis?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Disturbing the peace is a old-fashioned simple misdemeanor. It's punishable by up to 90 days in jail and a fine of up to $100. Let me find your file here. Do you understand the charge?
Yes, sir.
Now, you missed my advice of rights. Let me give it to you again. Do you understand that if you plead to this charge, you'll be giving up your right to have a trial in front of a judge or jury? There will be no trial. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
If you had a trial, you'd have the right to be represented by an attorney. Mr. Reed has been appointed to represent you. You could also hire an attorney of your own choosing if you wish. If you had a trial, you'd have the right to have any of the witnesses for or against you subpoenaed to come to court so they could be questioned under oath. You would have the right to take the witness stand and testify on your own behalf, but you don't have to because you have a right not to testify. And if you did not wish to testify, the judge or jury cannot hold your silence against you, and you have the right to be presumed innocent if and until the state was able to prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Let's take a look at the complaint here. Give me just a moment. All right, you got stopped way down near the county line at Eagley Road. That road doesn't really go very far. 131 right there by the curb just before you get to the state line. And they found a meth pipe and a tooter in your vehicle. Is that true?
Yes, sir.
And you had a suspended driver's license. Did he give you a ticket for the suspended?
I didn't have a suspended driver's license at the time. No.
It says you were suspended in Indiana.
No, not at the time. Yes, sir. And
All right, well, you got arrested and you immediately posted a pretty substantial surety bond. How long were you in jail?
When are you talking about, sir? In Indiana?
No, here, when you got arrested for this charge.
I was in there for 4 days. It was at $200 that I paid to bond down.
Well, there was a $5,000 cash or surety bond, and you posted bond with a surety on
Right.
July 17th.
Yes, Rachel.
So you spent 3 days in jail?
Yeah, 3 days and a wake up, I guess they call it.
All right. Ms. Davis, you got anything to add?
She does have pending charges in Indiana that she's dealing with. That was taken into account with what we did with this case. So at this point, we'd ask the court to just simply sentence her today, and she could deal with her things in Indiana.
Mr. Reed, anything to add?
No, I mean, I think this is a finding cost situation that was going on. She's got to deal with stuff in Indiana. Obviously, the prosecutor and I have had an opportunity to talk, and so we had asked the court to sentence finding cost today and let Ms. Phillips be on her way.
Oops. Three days, credit 3 days. Miss Phillips, how did you come to be at Keystone?
We winded up getting a big bid from the place that I had been staying at for a year. The guy that we were staying with is a friend of my husband's, and he was turned out to be schizophrenic. It was not a good place for us to be. The unemployment stopped my unemployment. Someone called and fraud on me, so I had to verify my identity. I'm still dealing with that. And IRS, they did the same thing with, and I just got that verified. So we had no income at the time or anything to come in to get another place.
All right. Well, I'm glad there's somewhere to put a roof over your head.
Yes.
You need methamphetamine like a hole in the head. Got your family there to support you. You need to stay as far away from that as possible. There's nothing there but despair. So I'm going to give you the minimum allowable fine of $125, which is the crime victims' rights fee and the state minimum fee. Or $125. I'm waiving the attorney fee. I'm waiving the fines. I'm not putting you on probation. You owe that by July 31st.
Okay, I can handle that.
You can pay it right here at the courthouse.
Yes, sir.
All right, you're good to go.
Thank you, all of you, very much.
Yep,
Thank
thanks,
you.
Amanda.
Good luck.
Thank you so much.
All right, well, let's put that waiting room in the waiting room. All right, the rest of you gentlemen have been waiting patiently. John, you've got a second hookup there in your office, but we'll get to that in a minute. Let's talk to Mr. Scott.
Okay, when we get there, I have Mr. Middleton and I have Mr. Crummel both in my office this morning.
All right, very good.
Connor,
Let's take care.
I believe the number there in 5211 is that Mr. Bedford?
I don't know. Let's find out. As Mr. Bedford, is that you?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Can I go into a breakout room with him?
Yes. Let me just close them. I'm going to get all messed up if I try to. All right. You're going to be able to talk to your attorney. Thank you for dialing them up. All right, Mr. Scott, let's talk to you. This is file 191126, Christopher M. Scott. You were charged in 2019 with assault with intent to do great bodily harm and domestic assault on Deandra House. At the time, you were living in Chicago, working for ServPro. You posted a bond and split. Then, no, you never got picked up. They issued the warrant, and they didn't arrest you until 2 years later. So, Mr. Bush, what's the status here?
I've been in contact with Mr. Scott and talking to Ms. Davis a couple times. I believe it's going to be resolved with the plea to disturbing the peace today.
That's correct, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Scott, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, now we just did a disturbing the peace on Miss Phillips. It's a misdemeanor. It's punishable by up to 90 days in jail and a fine of up to $500. I went through the advice of rights. Other than what's been said here about reducing these very serious misdemeanors, very serious felonies to a disturbing the peace, did anyone promise you anything to get you to plead to this?
No, sir.
Or threaten you?
No, sir.
All right, were you dating Deandra House back in April of 2019?
Yes.
It says here that this happened at 422 North Main, and you got in a situation whether she said you choked her, then you fled the scene, and they issued this warrant and took 2 years to pick you up. Tell me what happened.
From what I remember, we got in an argument when she came in because she went through my phone, and I tried to leave. No, I told her I was finna go back to Chicago that night, and she didn't want me to go. So she took a little lamp. She took a little lamp and tried to swing it at me, and it was like a little cheap lamp, and it broke and cut her arm. That's what the officer was mainly concerned about, how her arm got cut.
I knew it.
And she told
this dude's bond up another
Walden.
$2,000.
She told the officer,
They thought they'd be living in Chicago.
Just a minute.
I choked her or something. I wasn't there to talk to the officer. I was sitting on the back porch the whole time.
All right.
But she was
And
telling
then
me
you
like the
went
officer was concerned about her arm getting cut. They never said nothing about being choked.
All right. How long were you in jail before you posted a bond?
In Michigan?
Yeah, well, all together. Did you get arrested in Illinois first?
Yeah, I got arrested. I got arrested April 13th.
When did you get out?
Like the 16th of June.
You posted bond on June 16th, so you spent 17 days in April, 31 days in May, and 16 days in June. That's 64 days, I think. 8, 14. 64 days jail. Are you still working for Surf Pro?
Yep, it's like a dispatch company.
All right. You still live in Chicago?
Yes, sir.
What are your cross streets?
73rd and Dante.
Okay. Well, 64 days credit, 64 days. I'm going to waive the fine. $75 crime victims' rights fee, $50 state minimum fee, and $150 attorney fee. You were able to post a bond, you should be able to pay your attorney fee. The total is $275. I'm going to give you until August 31st to pay that. Can you pay that within 2 months?
Yes, sir.
All right, you're free to go back about your business in Chicago. You got to pay this fine though.
Can I pay it like online?
Yes, we'll send you the information. Are you still in Dante Avenue?
Yeah.
South Dante Avenue. All right, we'll send you that information. You can pay it online.
Okay, appreciate you.
Good
All
luck.
right.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Good luck, Mr. Scott.
Thank you, guys.
All right.
Debbie,
Yes.
we're just gonna leave Bedford on for a prelim.
Let me bring him back in from the breakdown room.
That's right.
We haven't got to our custody defendants yet, or the ones that haven't shown up. 34 seconds.
TJ, it looks like we got some digital media dropped yesterday. So check your Cerebus account, see.
What account?
Cerebus, that one that
We don't have a service account, so you're gonna have to get it to me.
you can pick it up here then.
You can mail it like every other prosecutor in the world.
Drive it over.
Talk to my staff about it.
All right. Mr. Bedford, can you hear us?
Yes, sir.
After meeting with your attorney, his request is that we have a prelim next week. You're going to have to either get a better signal or come here to the courthouse for your prelim.
Yes, sir. Can I go to my lawyer's office and do it?
No.
Well, that's between you and him, but we've got a conference room here at the courthouse. So you can just come here to the courthouse and we'll do it from there. Set prelim for July 6th. That'll be the day after the holiday. Everybody will be really happy to be here at 1 p.m. Are you at your grandma's on Armitage Street? Where are you staying?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
All right. Stay in contact with your lawyer. And if you can't do a video, you need to come here to the court and we'll accommodate you with a conference room where we'll be able to see and hear clearly. For whatever reason, I don't know, there's an upside down table in that room. Figure out what's going on over there. I think Debbie went in there and flipped it over or something. I'm not sure. But at any rate, I will see you next Tuesday at 1 o'clock. All right. You're good to go.
Thank you.
All right. TJ, does that complete your obligations?
That's it for me.
All right. Thank you.
See ya.
Yeah.
All right. He's not as accommodating as Mr. Bush. All right. Now we've got several people here. I've got Darren. I've got Jason Walden. I've got Jason Lytle. And
we could maybe take care of Jason Lytle fairly quickly.
all right, he's right here with us. The other guys were talking in class, so I banished them to the breakout room. Good morning, Mr. Lytle. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning. This is file 21787FY. Somebody put a purple pen on these and sometimes I can't read them. You're charged with conspiracy to steal a car, which is a felony punishable by up to 5 years imprisonment. Mr. Bush, what are you going to do with this case?
I received a message yesterday that he retained the Gergely Law Office. That's really all I know. We have talked briefly.
All right. Mr. Lytle, is that true?
Yes. Yeah, we talked yesterday very briefly.
Who would you retain, Christopher? Which Gergely did you hire?
Oh, yes, Christopher Gergely, yes. I'm going to get a consultation either tomorrow or later on this week sometime.
All right, well, let's continue this for 2 weeks. Pre-exam conference will be set for July 13. I won't be here. Well, I will be here for sobriety court, but July 13th at 9 a.m., so I may be here that day. And if we need a prelim, it will be July 20th at 1. Now, for whatever reason you don't end up retaining Mr. Gergely, Mr. Bush will still be your attorney of record until a substitution is filed. Mr. Gergely knows how to do all that.
Okay. So if something falls through, I can still have Mr. Bush represent me. Is that what you're saying?
Correct. You need to let us know because at this point, he's still the attorney of record and it's still set for July 13th.
Okay.
All right, you posted a $10,000 surety bond, which is pretty substantial. You continue to comply with the terms of your bond and I will see you on July 13th.
Your Honor, just for the record, Mr. Lytle, Mr. Bush, do you waive the time limitations on the preliminary exam since we're going to be outside of the statutory window?
I would waive time limits on the prelim.
Thank you.
You agree, Mr. Lytle? I didn't go into, it was your request, but I'll note defendant waives 14 days on the record.
Thank you.
Okay, that'll work.
All right, very good. All right, you're free to go.
Thank you.
All right, John, let's bring in these last two guys in the waiting room. We got Darren Forrest and Jason Walden. All right, let's address these two gentlemen. Mr. Walden, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
This is a charge of carrying concealed weapon. The file is 211085FY. You were talking to somebody in the room there with you, so I put you in the waiting room while we waited. Your attorney, Mr. Bush, is here, and prosecutor Deborah Davis is here. Mr. Bush, what's the status here?
I've been in contact with both Mr. Walden and Ms. Davis, and I do believe it's going to be a disorderly plea today.
All right.
She can confirm that, obviously.
Yes, that's correct.
Mr. Walden, we did a couple of these plea to disorderly persons today. You saw one or two of them. Do you understand you have the same rights I advised everybody else to earlier?
I do.
Other than this felony being dismissed to a misdemeanor disturbing the peace, did anyone promise you anything to get you to plead to this?
No, sir, they have not.
Or threaten you?
No, sir, they have not.
All right, let's take a look at this one. The complaint says that on or about 3/11, you had a fixed blade double-edged knife in a Subaru Forester. It's against the law to carry a double-edged fixed blade knife in a vehicle. People don't often understand that. But is that what happened? You had a fixed blade double-edged knife in your car?
Yes, sir. I was fed the wrong information, so that's my fault. I was told it was okay, and then apparently it wasn't.
All right. Well, how long were you in jail?
One day, turned myself in that morning and then got out about 5:30.
How was that?
Talked to the magistrate.
No, how much fun was the jail?
You say bond?
No, never mind.
Oh,
People
fun?
don't enjoy being in jail.
Oh, not at all. That's why I only spent one day. I already had bond money and everything waiting just in case.
All right.
Sorry, it's hard to hear on this end.
That's okay. Bond posted. Let's take a look at this. The magistrate gave you a PR bond. All right. 1 day credit, 1 day. $75 fine. $75 crime victims' rights fee, $50 state minimum fee, and a $150 attorney fee. $350, pretty expensive, but it's a lot better than having a felony charge. Can you pay that within 30 days?
I cannot.
Can you pay it within 60 days?
I can pay it around August. I'm on disability, so I'm on a fixed income.
Let's do a payment plan. $50 per month. How's that?
I can swing that, sir. Can we start that in August, though, please?
Start August 1.
I appreciate it. I got to renew all my vehicle information this month, so.
All right. Are you, and again, I don't have a darn address. Are you still at the same address?
815 Walnut.
I got 518 Walnut.
518 Walnut. I apologize. I haven't been here too long, so I'm still learning it.
All right. Well, you're good to go. Do you have any questions?
No, what was that whole price again? I'm sorry, it was three what?
350.
350? All right.
Best of luck, Jason.
Thank
We'll
you.
send
You
that
as
to
well.
you.
You have a wonderful day.
All right, thank you. I can't see outside, but from the outdoor people, it looks like the sun is shining and the sky is blue. Mr. Forrest, thank you for your patience. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Thank you. This is file 211243, People versus Darren Lamar Forrest. You're charged with breaking and entering a building. That's a felony punishable by up to 10 years imprisonment. And the fine, I think, is, I don't even remember, $1,000. We'll take a look. Let's find it. Says that on or about June 16th out in Flowerfield Township, you did break and enter a factory at Flatbush Road. I didn't know there was a factory on Flatbush Road.
No, it wasn't. It was an abandoned house.
All right. All right. That's a felony punishable by up to 10 years imprisonment. Ms. Davis, what are we doing on this case?
Well, I had spoken with Mr. Bush about it previously, but he had not spoken with his client. So hopefully they had a chance to talk today.
John, do you need to go in a breakout room with Mr. Forrest?
I've never met him. I don't have a good address or phone number for him. I did send an email to him.
Well, let me let you speak to him in a breakout room. All right, Mr. Forrest, I'm going to put you in a room where you can talk to your attorney.
Okay.
All right. All right, it's just me and you. We got a couple people at John's office will do. And then we'll talk about our in custody defendants.
I think that the two that are at his office are pleas. So
That's what I understood.
And then who do you have that's in custody?
Bulania?
Welna?
Welna? Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Is Delp in custody?
I don't believe so. Let's take a look.
Your Honor, I don't think Mr. Forrest made it into the breakout room.
All right, well, let's see where he is. He's not in our space. I don't know where he is. I better close the breakout room. See where we can find him. Says he's in there.
But I guess if you send me in there again, I'll see if I can find him.
Well, I'll start over again.
Lucas Delp is still in custody.
All right. All right. Let me stop this. Delete. Maybe you were already in a different room. All right, let's try again. Oh, what I did, John, I put your other room, I put your waiting room in there. They both say John Bush. So,
Maybe rename it John Bush Client or something like that.
yes, let me close it.
I guess we're not that sophisticated. Sorry about that.
No, I'm certainly not sophisticated. That's my middle name.
We're trying our best.
Hello? All right, Mr. Forrest, we had a little glitch here. I don't know which one is which.
We can turn the other one off.
All right, I know, I just renamed it. Let's try again. I had a mistake on my side here, so let me delete room number 2. Just start over again. I put Mr. Bush's conference room in there, and so that was my mistake. All right, create room number 2, John Bush and Darren F. All right, let's try that.
Thank you, Judge.
Jerry Crummel is in John's office. How about Robert Kovac?
Good question. I don't see, John and I talked about him, but I
He's
don't.
in custody.
Is he? Okay, so hopefully that one, I was expecting an ADTC referral or.
Chad Morningstar is not here and he's not in custody. Star Overton, I believe, is in custody. Then we have Mr. George's motion on Waterman. And we have Garrett Snyder and William Stollard and Lawrence Widowson. He's in John's office. And then we have a sentencing with Luke on Jessica Kiefer, and that is set for 10:30. We also had several cases with the bonding companies that failed to appear, and I'll call those separately. We may be forfeiting some bonds.
I'm gonna leave it on with my camera and audio off and go check in on the closing arguments.
All right. All right, we're plugging away here. We're actually not doing too bad considering how many cases we've had. I'm going to leave the record run for just a moment. Doing a warrant for Cassidy Brook Lane, who failed to appear for an order to show cause in file 21270 SM. Bond is $500 cash or surety. Also doing a warrant for Stephen Thole. The sheets I have no longer have a phone number on them, and I'm going to fix that, but I can't call these people that haven't appeared, so I don't have anything with their number on it. And I'm doing a bench warrant for Mr. Thole as well. File 21923OT. Bond $250 cash or surety. No 48-hour hold. Hello again, Deborah. I'm just sort of finishing processing my arraignment file.
Did you address any of the no-shows for PECs yet or no?
Not yet.
Okay. Closings are done.
Oh, very good. I would have liked to have seen some of it.
No. I saw
Gary,
just the very end of Gary's rebuttal.
so the instructions have started.
Yeah, they're just starting instructions now.
There's a case going in the circuit court of assault with intent to murder. It's the first jury trial we've had in circuit court in about a year and a half. And the circuit court is to be commended, and the prosecutors and defense, for getting that case through to conclusion. It's 10:15. We're not doing too bad. I appreciate the help on resolving these.
If I could talk to Ms. Davis for a moment, please.
All right, let me close that room, and I'll put Deborah Davis. Oops, that's the wrong room. I close it. Give me a second. Mr. Forrest, I'll put you in the waiting room. And I gotta delete the rooms before I get screwy. And then I will put Mr. Bush and Mr. Davis in a breakout. All right, there you go. All right, Laura, I've got the misdemeanor files all completed. If you could come get those and take them out to the clerks. Thanks. I haven't had one bind over yet, so we'll see how that goes. All right, Mr. Forrest back here.
Yes.
All right, let's resume our record here. We return to file 211243, People versus Darren Lamar Forrest on a charge of breaking and entering. He had an opportunity to meet with his lawyer, and then the prosecutor and the defense attorney met. What's the status here, Mr. Bush?
I talked to Ms. Davis. We would like to adjourn this perhaps for 2 weeks. There are some questions that need to be looked into that I have with Mr. Forrest. The co-defendant apparently set for prelim earlier today. Maybe that could be adjusted too, and we could, if necessary, we could have a joint prelim. And that was our thinking, Ms. Davis and myself.
Who's the co-defendant?
Austin Wallace, he was here with Luke Knopfsinger early on today. Luke just had the one case.
And that's set for prelim next week?
Yes, that was the plan. But as the day has progressed, we have a lot of prelims set for next week. And this one, I think, needs a little more attention, and then a joint prelim if one is needed.
All right, so we'll set this for pre-exam for 2 weeks or prelim?
I mean, I'm fine with either. What are your thoughts, John?
It doesn't make any difference. So.
Well, that's set for a pre-exam conference. I'll be on vacation that day, and Judge Patterson's going to be very busy for 6/13/21. I may be here that day at 9 a.m. That's my vacation, but I block out Tuesdays for sobriety court. I can't remember if I'm here all day or part of the day. Mr. Forrest?
Yes,
Have
sir.
you agreed to adjourn this matter for 2 weeks for a pre-exam conference on July 13th?
Yes, sir.
Now, Mr.
Now, you
excuse me,
didn't call your lawyer, excuse me, July 13th, not June 13th.
Mr. Forrest, I've sent you an email, which you're not getting. You don't have a phone. I don't have an address or phone number for you, really. You need to contact my office to schedule a time when we can talk on the phone. It's very important. And
Can I get your number?
Yes, sir.
Can I get
My
your-
phone number is 269
Okay.
651 5380.
Mr. Forrest, where do you live?
Currently, I'm homeless right now, sir.
Where are you staying?
I have a tent that I try to post up. I post up.
All right. Where are you from?
I'm from Michigan, but I've recently moved back to Michigan.
Okay. Where's your people? Where's your folks?
I have family in Three Rivers, but it's hard for me to get around because I don't have no wheel, no car.
All right. Well, it's important you talk to your attorney. So you call him and you can make an appointment to discuss this further. But with your consent, I'm adjourning this for 2 weeks to July 13th at 9 o'clock. And a prelim, if necessary, will be July 20th at 1. Possibly
Can
joint.
I get his number again?
Yeah, John, would you give that again?
It's 269 651 5380.
5380. Okay.
Yes, sir. So call and schedule a time when we can talk, or if you get to Sturgis, we'll meet face to face, whatever you can do.
Okay, I will do that.
Deborah, the complaint lists this as a factory, just a mistake.
Yeah, I don't know how that happened too, so I will look into that.
Yeah.
All right, well, don't say any more, sir. Well, just call your lawyer and discuss this further.
Okay.
But this is a concern. People's houses get broken into. They take it very seriously.
Yeah.
All right. I'll see you in 2 weeks.
Okay.
All right.
You have a good day.
Thank you. All right. Now, I think that takes us up to the live customers John has in his office. And I've got LG Stylo 5X. Let's see who this is. This might be Miss Kiefer. This is somebody's fireplace. John, why don't you go ahead and
who do you want me to put
Mr.
on?
Widowson in there first? Is that going to be a?
I believe that's going to be a plea. I believe.
Disturbing the peace.
Yes, you can confirm that with Ms. Davis, but I think that is.
All right.
Yes, it's a disorderly person, and he has to forfeit the firearm.
I will get Mr. Widowson. It'll take me about a minute to get him in front of the
All
camera.
right, that's fine. We're still trying to figure out who LG Stylo 6 is.
Just have a seat right there. We've got you all hooked up on the screen and everything.
There we go. Stream, got it.
All right, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Judge.
I'm Judge Middleton. I'm over here at the courthouse in Centerville. Thank you for making yourself available at Mr. Bush's office. He's done a good job of he's got smart clerical help. She sets it up, but it is good that you're here. We've got a connection. You're charged with carrying concealed weapon. That is in file number 211206FY. It's alleged that on or about June 14th, you had a pistol in a black Chevy. It's commonly known as carrying concealed weapon, and it's a felony punishable by up to 5 years in prison. The prosecutor has agreed to take a plea to a misdemeanor charge of disturbing the peace. Disturbing the peace is a misdemeanor. It's punishable by up to 90 days in jail and a fine of up to $500. Also, disorderly person, I guess is what we'll show it as, causing a disturbance in a public place. Do you understand the charge?
I do, sir.
All right. I didn't tell you these things because you've been waiting, but let me tell you that if you enter a plea to this misdemeanor charge, you'll be giving up the right to have a trial in front of a judge or jury. Do you understand?
Yes, I do.
There will be no trial. If there was a trial, you'd have the right to be represented by an attorney. Mr. Bush has been appointed to represent you. You could also hire an attorney of your own choosing if you wished. If you had a trial, you'd have the right to take the witness stand and testify on your own behalf. But you don't have to because you have a right not to testify. And if you did not wish to testify, the judge or jury could not hold your silence against you, and you have the right to be presumed innocent if and until the state was able to prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. You understand?
Yes, sir.
And are you going to plead to that charge of disturbing the peace?
I have a question. Well, if I agree to the charge of disturbing the peace, does that mean I lose all of my my concealed permit, like my gun rights?
No. Carrying a concealed weapon would prohibit your gun rights. Disturbing the peace does not. The gun is going to be forfeited, ground up into little fine shavings by the state police, but it won't prohibit you from at some point attempting to get a gun permit. All right, do you understand?
Yes, I do.
Good morning, Ms. Kiefer. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right, your lawyer will be here shortly. Pretend we're in court. Don't eat, smoke, sleep, and you're live on YouTube and people are watching our proceeding here. All right, this Middleton case, I was looking at the bond information report. There's some troubling things in here. They got sent to Walnut Meadows on a complaint with someone with a gun in a car. They were in red waving a gun in the parking lot. They all got out and the driver had a small caliber handgun in his lap. He'd been drinking, had some shots of liquor, and they found some liquor bottles in the vehicle. He gave a breath test, which was .04, which is not illegal, but the gun was not registered, and it had 1 round in the magazine. So did you have a gun in your car?
I did.
What for?
Well, to be safe rather than sorry. I've had several family members in the last 3 years got shot in the head. My niece just got shot in the head. Granted, they all stay in Chicago, but the way I feel is I feel like I got bad juju on me. So I'd rather be safe. care where I'm
Drink
at.
it. All right. Well, Deborah, what are you looking for here? This looks like more than just passing breeze. Somebody calls in a complaint. These guys got a gun in the car. They're drinking. Normal disturbing the peace is just fine and costs. See how long he was in jail.
I believe it was just one night, Your Honor.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. What would you like me to know?
Well, I mean, I kind of want to, John and I talked about this yesterday, so maybe I'll leave it to him to speak first if that's okay about what his client's up to and doing, so I don't misspeak.
John, let's hear from you.
Okay. Mr. Whittleton's 34. He's married. He has 2 children. His wife is pregnant. He maintains 2 jobs. He works at the subway about 25 hours a week on Main Street in Three Rivers. He also works for Blue Cleaning as an employee. He works about 20 hours per week in that job. So he has responsibility in the community. He's been in the area for about 8 years. He did go through the 10th grade. He has, to the best of my knowledge, very limited prior adult criminal record. He tells me that he wants to get a better place to live. He would like to get a more stable job, maybe not working the 2 jobs. He had bought the gun on this, I think, just a few days before. He paid $400 for it. He was told that he would have a few days to get it registered. Unfortunately, he did not have a concealed carry permit. I would ask the court, under all those circumstances, to just consider fines and costs.
What were you doing sitting in the Walnut Meadows parking lot drinking Patron?
I was just talking to my cousin about, my brother's death. It was the anniversary of his death. And I just was out there kicking it with him, talking, That's it. Just trying to get some stuff off my chest. That's it.
Deborah, I can't tell from the bond information report, what time was this?
Oh, this was at just after midnight, it appears. Yeah, 12 minutes after midnight.
This was on June 14th, which was a Sunday night into Monday morning. Why weren't you home with your wife and kids?
Because I spent time with my family, and I was just kicking it with my cousin for a little bit, and I was gonna head back home.
You live at Waterfront or Edgewater?
No, I do not. I live at 617.
617 what?
13th Street.
This whole thing gives me the willies. I don't know what's going on. But the prosecutors reduced it to the misdemeanor.
Your Honor, if I may say a few things. The call that came into dispatch, the caller wished to remain anonymous. So it kind of tied our hands as far as whether or not somebody was in fact waving a gun around, or if they just saw 3 males drinking alcohol and had somebody maybe saw the gun because it was in his lap when the police came. Not a good situation, but as far as his level of intoxication not being a 0.08, we looked at the potential for possession of a firearm while intoxicated, but he was not statutorily intoxicated. And we felt under the circumstances that this would be a fair resolution, that he would have to forfeit the firearm so that he doesn't have it. He does have a significant juvenile history, but I don't know if that is going to prevent him from getting a concealed carry permit. With all the circumstances, that's why it is what it is with the offer today.
Whose car was it?
It was my car, sir.
Do you have a valid driver's license?
Yes, I do, and I have valid insurance too.
All right, good. Well, you had an A and B in 2014, and just a minor traffic case. Well, I don't know what to do. I guess I'm go with the flow here. 1 day in jail credit, 1 day. This whole thing is in that very apartment complex where you're sitting. Over the years, we've had several shootings. One guy fired some shots into a window and almost hit somebody in a bedroom in there. 2 guys were fighting in the open area, and one guy shot at another guy and killed a young woman named Miss Nichols, who was sitting there at the picnic table drinking a can of pop. Got shot in the head. And so I'm a bit paranoid about people with guns in the parking lot of Walnut Meadows at midnight on a Sunday night with booze in the car. But there is no smoking gun here. He had 1 bullet. Last person to have 1 bullet was Barney Fife. So I don't know what the heck you were doing, but we'll chalk it up to you got $400 for a gun. Now you got a $75 fine, $75 crime victims' rights fee, $50 state minimum fee, and a $150 attorney fee. This is all money away from your family. First, you waste $400 on a gun. Now you owe me $350, and the gun is forfeited.
So when you say forfeited, that means I do not get the gun back?
You do not get the gun back under any circumstance. As I indicated, they're going to destroy it. You didn't have a permit. That's going to be due by August 31, 21.
Can I say, sir?
Yes, certainly, you can speak.
I thought I was under the motion that I had 48 hours to get my gun to the police station and registered. And if I'm not mistaken, I didn't even get 48 hours to do that because I got caught with it on Sunday and I bought it on Friday.
Listen, dude, the prosecutor just reduced your felony charge to a misdemeanor. You're sitting there with an unregistered gun in the car. So if you can't register, don't drive around with it in your lap and sit there and drink. If you'd had it in your house, you wouldn't have had to do this. So just because you didn't have a chance to get it registered didn't mean, I don't even know whether you're eligible. That you had a domestic violence charge that was reduced to an A and B. So I don't know, but in my view, you dodged a train here. If you want to withdraw your plea and go back to the original charge, that's all right with me. But if you want to pay a fine and forfeit the gun, the fine is due on the end of August, August 31. Is that what you wish to do?
I'm going to pay the fine.
All right. You're good to go. That's money away from your family, and I'm sorry about that.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, thank you. Luke, we're going to take one more plea of John's, then we'll do your sentence, then we'll address the people that are in custody. So we'll address Ms. Keeper here in a moment. I said 10:30. I guess I was too optimistic. We're going to next address Jerry. What's the plea offer in this case?
Day of the day, Your Honor. Let me see here. This one is a DV with deferral, but he also is forfeiting the weapon.
Thank you, honey.
Good morning, sir. Are you Jerry Del Crummel?
Yes, sir.
Give me a moment here. Let me pull your file up. I got a bunch of cases open. Let me close them out. Ms. Kiefer, this is part of your legal education, so you can watch these other cases.
Okay, thank you. I am babysitting, so if I have to leave the camera for a moment, then.
That's fine.
But thank you.
All right, this is file 211252, People versus Jerry Dale Crummell. It's alleged that on or about June 17th, Mr. Crummell assaulted Diane Crummell with a pistol without intending to commit great bodily harm or murder. That's commonly known as felonious assault. It is a felony punishable by up to 4 years in prison and a fine of up to $2,000. Count 2 alleges felony firearm, that you did possess a firearm during the commission of a felony. That one is a 2-year sentence, flat and preceding any other term of sentence. 2 years flat prison term, consecutive and preceding any other term, and mandatory forfeiture of the weapon. Count 3 is a domestic violence on Diane Crummell, and count 4 is a domestic violence on Diane Crummell. So it's alleged you domestic violence 3 times.
Come in here, be quiet though.
Just a minute. Ms. Kiefer, I'm going to put you in the waiting room. Don't go away. I'll bring you back.
Thank
Let me go back to your file. So this is a matter of some consequence. I'm advised that the prosecuting attorney has agreed to 1 count of domestic violence, which is a misdemeanor punishable by up to 93 days in jail and a fine of up to $500. If you do enter this plea, I'm going to set this for sentence at a later date to get some more information. Mr. Bush, do you confirm the plea agreement?
Yes, I do. And I do think it's a good case to defer for a while. We're getting Mr. Crummell involved in services.
All right, Mr. Crummell, do you understand that by pleading to this charge, you will be giving up your right to have a trial in front of a judge or jury? Do you understand?
No, I don't really. Whatever.
All right, let me slow down.
Okay.
You have a right to have a trial on this felony charge. Boy, these new face sheets suck. I can't tell your date of birth. Nothing. All right. Anytime you're charged with a criminal offense, you have a right to have a trial. That's absolute. But you also have the right to waive that if you want to enter a plea of guilty. In this case, the prosecutor is dismissing some very serious charges, including one that carries a minimum 2-year prison sentence for a plea to a misdemeanor, domestic violence. That's a misdemeanor punishable by up to 93 days in jail and a fine of up to $500. Is that what you wish to do here this morning?
I want to plead guilty for what?
All right, well, let me tell you some other things. If you had a trial, you'd have the right to be represented by an attorney. Mr. Bush is here to represent you. You could also hire an attorney of your own choosing if you wished. If you had a trial, you'd have a right to have any of the witnesses for or against you subpoenaed to come to court so they could be questioned under oath. You would have the right to take the witness stand yourself and testify, but you don't have to because you have a right not to testify. And if you did not wish to testify, the judge or jury could not hold your silence against you. And you have the right to be presumed innocent if and until the state was able to prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. Do you understand all that?
Yes.
All right. And you told me you wish to plead to the misdemeanor. All right. Are you married to Diane Crummell?
Yes, we've known each other for 16 years. I'm married for 4.5 years right now.
All right.
August.
This happened at your house out on Fuller Road?
Yes, sir. Yes.
And did you and your wife get in an argument?
Yes, about, is my lawyer knows everything, but I'm not, I'm 75 years old and I don't know what really to say. I'm confused.
Well, did you push her or strike her?
Yeah, I pushed her down and on the deck, and then we went in the garage, and we just come back from camping, and we camp up in the National Forest, not the Babylon, but I had a 22 pistol on the seat of the car. I took it out of the truck. When I got home, I put it on the car because there was a couple woodchucks I'd like to get when I'm at home in the garage. The car was in the garage, and sometimes the woodchuck comes out, and I pick them off with my 22. But the gun, I have no idea what happened after that. You know what I'm saying? I blanked out.
All right, well, let me ask this. Had you been drinking?
Right. Excuse me. Go ahead, sir.
Had you been drinking?
No, I don't drink, no drugs. I work, go to work and pay bills. That's all I do. And love my wife.
Where do you work?
R&L Carriers for 28 years.
Well, there's not a lot of 75-year-olds still working full time. Good for you.
I passed my physical. I passed my, drug test and the physical.
What do you do for them? Are you a driver?
Yes, sir. I drive 48-foot semi from Battle Creek to Kalamazoo. I work every day, never late. And they love me. Everybody loves me. I blacked out when all this happened. It's just stress. I don't know anything about computers. I don't know how to work my phone, what they teach me, but I'm not a very good learner. I'm 75 years old. And this just.
All right. Deborah, are you in contact with the complainant?
Yes, we received her victim impact statement dated 6/24, and she really wants him home. This is uncharacteristic of him. She said that there's never been any domestic violence before. We don't have any records of any call outs to that house before. It seems like there's potentially some mental health issues that are cropping up here. It's my understanding he is involved with Stony Sumi, our veterans agent here, and he's getting into some counseling to make sure that we don't have any issues.
Well, I've got a limited spectrum of dates. We've got next week. Judge Pattison was scheduled to be on vacation. I think he's going to be here for some of it. Then I'm gone the week of the 12th and the 19th, except for a day in there. So the 9th is just crammed full. So we either have to set it as soon as next Wednesday, July 7th, or we'll have to go all the way to July 26th.
I personally suggest the 26th. That would give time to see what services come in place for him, if there's any recommendations.
I'm going to set this for sentence for July 26th at 10:30. There's a no contact provision in effect. Sometimes they say you don't know what you got till it's gone. So you can't have any contact with your wife. The allegation is you put a gun in her face and threatened to shoot her, and you may have broken her ribs. You also threatened to shoot yourself. So you're going to have the month of July to not be able to have any contact with your wife till further order of this court. That'll be on July 26th. Drugs or alcohol don't seem to be an issue. Stay in contact with your lawyer, Mr. Bush. We can do this just like we did here from his office. But these are very serious charges that were dismissed for a plea to this misdemeanor. And I guess I want to make sure I got the whole picture. There was an allegation in there that she had a broken rib. I want to know about her medical issues. I want to know about yours. I want to know if this gun was loaded. There's a daughter that took some pictures of her injuries. Her hands were hurt. There's a lot I want to know. I have a curious nature. So I will see you on July 26th at 10:30 a.m. and your bond is continued with all the conditions that are in effect.
Are you ordering a pre-sentence investigation, or are we just deferring?
No, I'm going to get the police report and victim input.
That's fine. Thank you, Judge.
And anything you wish to provide.
Chris, or Your Honor, can I say
Yes.
something? I've been, Chris Yancey and Charlie is taking care of my lawn and stuff like that.
All right, they're your neighbors.
Yeah, Katie Lukeman or Katie Schrader is talks to my wife, and I communicate with Katie how my wife is doing. I really care. I love my wife.
Yes, you can.
Okay.
You got good neighbors.
Yes,
all
I
right.
do.
You can't have any direct contact with her.
No,
all right.
I'd like to get that dropped sometime after counseling. You know what I'm saying, sir?
Well, that's what your lawyer is trying to accomplish. We'll find out more on July 26th.
Okay, thank you very much, sir.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Joe. You can go.
All right, may I get Charlie Yancey to come over and mow my grass? We're doing that.
I've known him since they've been Chris, since she's been 5 or 6 years old. I'm 75. I was born in 3/10 of 46. I love my wife so much. I snapped and I don't know what happened.
We'll see you on the 26th. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, we have the alleged Tim George with us, and may I get Tim George to mow my lawn?
He lives a little closer.
Yeah, that's a long way from Charlie to try to mower from Fuller Road to my house. Tim could cover it. He's got a nice mower. All right, thank you for waiting. Tim is here for his motion on Waterman, and Luke is here with his client, Ms. Kiefer. John, thank you for your patience while we address these other matters. This matter is file 211102FY, People versus Jessica Elizabeth Kiefer. Ms. Kiefer is charged with possession of methamphetamine and maintaining a drug house. The matter was set for a plea to use of methamphetamine, and it was set for sentencing today. I was trying to get some information about what CPS was doing in the police report. So let's proceed to the sentence. We'll start with you, Luke. What would you like me to know?
Thank you, Your Honor. Well, Ms. Kiefer has a limited criminal history. From what I'm told is that she has a DUI from several decades ago. Her time that she spent in jail, having been arrested on this case, was a wake-up call. She, through sheer will, cleaned herself up. She's sober now. She completed a probation that was a part of that DUI, so I think that she's probation material. She has some concerns at this point, about whether or not she would have financial resources to pay for testing and to do those things, but I think that she could do it. She can figure some things out. I would inquire as to the eligibility for 7411, however.
It does appear, Luke, I owe you an apology. You were here yesterday for this sentence. My notes say set sentencing for Monday, June 28th at 10:30. Except my handwriting's so scribbly, they put it as June 29th. So it's a direct result of my handwriting, but it was supposed to be Monday, June 28th at 10:30. And because this is an unusual time for this to be set. So you were not crazy. You were here on the right day and the right time, but due to my very poor handwriting, it got set for Tuesday.
That's okay. It's okay.
All right, we did establish that she was eligible for 7411 probation. And I had some issues that she was a babysitter, and she's babysitting now. Deborah, what can you tell us?
Well, with her not having any prior drug convictions and her admitting to using with friends the day that day and maybe a little bit prior, it was just residue, is my understanding, from what she was a part of. That being said, I do have big concerns about her being a caregiver, and I'm not trying to be unfair to her, but especially if she's going to be a caregiver for children, I would want her on a probation and have testing so that we can be certain that it's not a risk to any kids that she might be caring for or herself. So I would ask that she be put on a probation that includes regular testing. And if the court wants to put her on 7411, that would be acceptable. I don't have any issues with that.
All right. Well, Ms. Kiefer, 7411 allows you to take this charge off your record. I had another gentleman this morning. I didn't put him on probation. I just gave him 50 days in jail. Other than that OUL, you don't have much of a criminal history. You were with Devon Berger, who's got some issues. He's got a couple cases pending, and you're dabbling in meth use, which is a bad plan. But if I put you on this probation, you can be off it as early as 6 months. And if you successfully complete the probation, the criminal charge would be removed from your public record. You understand?
Yes, I do.
All right, I'm gonna do that. You spent 9 days in jail.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do 69 days, credit 9. Of the 69 days, 60 are deferred. You're not gonna do any more jail time if you do what I ask you to do.
Okay.
Putting you on probation under section 7411 for 12 months. Under the new law, if you complete this probation well, you can be discharged at the end of 6 months.
Okay.
Fine is 0. There's
Okay.
a $75 crime victims' rights fee, a $50 state minimum fee, $150 attorney fee, and $480 probation oversight fee. We're going to do testing as directed, no drugs, no alcohol, and no marijuana, even though marijuana is legal.
Okay.
You can't use it while you're on this type of probation. Let's add that up. 75 plus 50 plus 150 plus 480 is 755. I think I might have a little bit of money. I think I have $250 bond at 10%.
Okay.
Court keeps 10% of a 10% bond, so there's 225 equals 530. You're also gonna have to pay for the testing.
Okay.
Now, yeah, I'm so frustrated that none of this stuff has an address on it.
Oh, I'm currently living where I'm babysitting.
All right, well, Luke, would you email us her current address and phone number, and I'll provide that to the.
Yes.
What's your relationship with Mr. Berger?
He's my boyfriend.
All right, well, he's got stuff to take care of. I don't want him dragging you down. I
Okay.
want you to drag him up.
Okay, that's what I'm
He's
trying
very
to do.
polite, very respectful when I see him. He's concerned about appearing at all his court dates, but neither one of you need to be messing around with methamphetamine.
Correct.
So let me repeat that. Don't let him pull you down. Either dump him or pull him up.
Okay.
But that's just unsolicited advice. All right, the probation department will be connecting to you shortly. We'll get set up with this probation. We'll set up your testing at the day reporting center. If you test today, would you be positive for anything?
No, I would not.
Well, that's a good start.
I'm sorry, I might have marijuana in my system prior, like 30 days prior. I mean,
All right,
it takes
marijuana is
about-
legal at this point, so we'll get a baseline and get that to 0.
Okay,
All right, you're good to go. Thank you.
thank you.
And Luke, I apologize for the confusion. You too, Ms.
Oh,
Keefer,
that's
but-
fine. If it was in my handwriting, I have no idea when. I did think it was a little odd, but it all worked
Monday
out.
is the 28th, so I don't know. Anyway, we got it done. Thank you. All right, she's good to go. Now we've got Mr. George. Do we need people from the jail?
Mr. Waterman's in custody, Your Honor.
All right.
And then
How
John
about
has
we-
his in custody.
Yes, we've got Welna, Delp, Kovac, and we have No Show and Star Overton.
She's in jail, I
And-
believe, Judge.
Yes, she is. And then we've got,
Mr. Stallard?
is he in jail also?
Yes.
Then we got Morning Star Farms and Garrett Snyder.
I think there are no shows, are they not?
Yes, we'll address them last.
That's fine.
But we're gonna be bumping up against jail lunch hours. Are any of these waivers?
Yes.
All right, who's a waiver?
I believe Mr. Bolna is going to be a waiver,
All right,
and Mr. Delp and Mr. Kovac have both been offered an adult drug treatment court, and they're inclined to do that, so I believe they're going to be waiving.
right.
Mr. Stallard is going to be a plea to a misdemeanor. And I'm not entirely sure what Star Overton's going to do.
All right, well, let's dial up the jail. Good afternoon or morning, booking office, Judge Middleton. We're aware we're bumping up on lunch hour. We got some people we need to see. Could I see Benjamin Welna, Lucas Delp, and Robert Kovac? And then we're also going to need to see Mr. Waterman, but let's start with Welna, Delp, and Kovac.
Yeah, Welna, Delp, and Kovac.
Yes.
I'll get them down there.
All right, then we got a few more. Tim, thank you for your patience. All right, Debbie, I didn't blame that one on you, so I just said we would do it. We found out the last guy, Charlie Yancey, was mowing his yard. And so I thought maybe I'd get Charlie Yancey to mow my yard, but Deborah thought maybe you'd be a better candidate.
Just did it on Thursday and it's already getting
Yeah,
shaggy
isn't it
again.
though? It's growing so fast.
Half of our yard is underwater now, so no need to mow.
Oh, well, it's easier to get to
Close to
your
lakefront now, yeah. No, it's not easy to get to the pontoon. I need like a ferry boat, a dinghy to get out there.
How high up is the water on your seawall?
We don't have a seawall because we're on, like, the river comes in across from us, so you can't have a seawall.
I appreciate that, Debbie, but I was talking to Judge.
Oh.
It's gone, I went out this morning to look at it. It's gone up about 14 inches.
Wow.
And
Is
it's
that
not
over
done
it
yet. What's that?
Is it over your seawall yet or no?
No, it was at the rock bottom. So it's about 40% of the way up to the top of the seawall. So we've had, last year, we had the highest water we'd had, and this year we had among the lowest. So it's still going up, but it's at a healthy spot right now for this time of year. But I don't know how much more it's going to rise as the water's still coming in from the river, and we got a lot of rain last night.
Well, don't you just make a call and have them open up that dam and keep you from flooding?
No, some guys put in a dam, the DNR made them take it out, but the actually next dam downstream from there is the dam at the St. Joe River by the dairy bar on Wood Street. That's the next dam downstream.
If they open even one, we get flooded because everything just goes to the St. Joe.
No, wait a minute. No, the next dam downstream from there is the Hoffman Dam from that river. I left the room hooked up. Deborah, while we're waiting, do you have a position on Tim's motion on Waterman?
Bill, let me pull up my notes.
And just so you guys are aware, he completed his evaluation from the jail on Thursday. So,
Oh, okay. Well, that helps.
yeah.
At the jail administration's request, on that case we did last week where we let the guy out for medical purposes, he left the hospital and got arrested for home invasion, so that wasn't very effective. Laura, could I have bind over sheets on Buelna, Delp, Overton, and Kovac? That's Buelna, Delp, Overton, and Kovac.
There's your question.
While we're waiting, this might be a time to call the fail to appears. There were bond forfeiture hearing on Jacoby Bentley Reed, file 20877 with a $2,000 surety bond, file 201998 with a $2,500 surety bond, file 202131 with a $2,500 surety bond. Those are all subject to forfeiture. Nobody appeared. Mr. Reed was living with his father on Pearl Street, and that's where they were looking for him, and I don't know whether they found him. Dustin Shepard, file 20831, is no insurance, failed to stop at an accident, unregistered vehicle. He posted a $500 surety bond after 2 previous fails to appear. No one has appeared from the bonding company regarding that. Wayne Talbert, file 20678, had several fails to appear. PR bond, then a surety bond, then another surety bond, then another surety bond. I believe that one is open now as a $500 surety bond. No one appeared for that. That is Mr. Bush's client. I saw his brother and told him to tell him to get his butt in here, but I don't know where he is. No one has appeared on that case either. Mr. Buelna, good morning. This is Judge Middleton. We've met before. I'm over here at the courthouse. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Your lawyer, Mr. Bush, is here with us. This is the absconding charge in file 211228. It's alleged that you absconded on a bond. I think it must be on that other underlying robbery case. Let me pull this up. That is a felony. It's punishable by up to 4 years in prison as a third habitual offender. I think that's a 15-year max or 8-year maximum consecutive to any other case. Prosecutor's working on some sort of plea agreement. It's my understanding you're going to waive the preliminary examination here today. Is that correct? Have the matter bound over to the circuit court. Let me read you that language. Here it comes right now. Thank you. It's alleged, as I indicated, that on or about May of 19 to March of 21, that you abscond on a bond. The language says, I, Benjamin J. Buelna, understand I have a right to employ an attorney. I may request a court-appointed attorney if I'm financially unable to employ one. I have a right to a preliminary examination where it must be shown that a crime was committed and probable cause exists to charge me with the crime. I voluntarily waive my right to a preliminary examination and understand that I will be bound over to the circuit court on the charges in the complaint and warrant. Is that what you wish to do?
Yes.
Ms. Davis, you agree?
We accept the waiver, Your Honor.
Yeah, it's contemplated that he's going to be retaining David Moore. He represents him on the underlying case. And I've been in contact with Mr. Bolna, and this is his request to do the waiver to get everything in the.
And that's fine, Mr. Bolna. This makes sense to get the matter bound over and connected upstairs, all the cases in the same place. As I recall, the underlying case had an elderly witness in it, and I don't know if he's still available or what the status of that is, but falling off the map for a year and a half didn't help. All right, the matter is bound over to circuit court, and they'll give you a status conference date. If you do retain other counsel, he knows how to substitute in. You're free to go.
Thank you, Mr. Bolna.
Thank you. Good morning. I'll be with you in just a sec. Are you Lucas Delp?
No, I'm Robert Kovac.
All right, Mr. Kovac, good afternoon. This is Judge Middleton. Is this a waiver also?
Yes, yes, it will be.
All right, Mr. Kovac. Let me get my...
John, does he wish to be considered for ADTC?
Yes,
Okay,
we are
just
waiving.
make sure.
We've discussed adult drug treatment court with him, and he would like to be put into that program.
Well, that's a good program.
I was speaking with my mother today, and I don't think I will make it through drug court, honestly.
That's yet to be determined, so that'll be up to the circuit court, but let's just talk about this. The allegation is that on or about February 19th, you did possess methamphetamine as a second offender, fourth offense, punishable by up to life in prison. This is the time and date for a preliminary examination. It's my understanding that you're going to waive the preliminary examination and have the matter bound over to the circuit court where it can further be discussed, including whether or not you're willing to participate in the adult treatment court program. I'm not going to make that decision here today, Mr. Kovac. I'm not going to try to jam it down your throat, but it's something to consider as an alternative to a different kind of sentence. Are you willing to waive your preliminary examination?
I am.
All right, let me read you that language. I, Robert Allen Kovac, understand I have a right to employ an attorney. I may request a court-appointed attorney if I'm financially unable to employ one. I have a right to a preliminary examination where it must be shown that a crime was committed and probable cause exists to charge me with the crime. I voluntarily waive my right to a preliminary examination and understand that I will be bound over to the circuit court on the charges in the complaint and warrant. Is that what you wish to do?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Davis, you accept that?
We accept the waiver, Your Honor.
All right, this matter is bound for the circuit court for further proceedings. The next step will be a status conference. You can consider the options about treatment court. Right now, you got some sobriety time under your belt, which is a good way to think clear-headed. Anyway, your lawyer will be in contact with you and you can decide how you want to proceed in the circuit court. You can still have a trial if you wish, but I'll accept your waiver and the matter's bound over to circuit court. All right, you're good to go, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bond is $30,000 cash or surety not posted.
And I know the prosecutor wants to keep this case moving, so he just has a few weeks to make up his mind.
Right.
It's all a good thing. Good morning, sir. Are you Lucas Delp?
Yes, sir.
This is Judge Middleton. I'm over here at the courthouse. You're charged with possession of methamphetamine. This is the time and date for the pre-exam conference in this case. I'm advised that you're going to waive preliminary examination and have the matter bound over to the circuit court. Apparently, they're considering you for placement in the adult drug treatment court program, and if I understand correctly, you may be interested in that. The allegation is
Yes,
that on or about June 15th, in the city of Three Rivers, you possessed methamphetamine. Let me read you the language regarding the waiver of preliminary examination. I, Lucas D. Delp, understand that I have a right to employ an attorney. I may request a court-appointed attorney if I'm financially unable to employ one. I have a right to a preliminary examination. There must be shown that a crime was committed and probable cause exists to charge me with the crime. I voluntarily waive my right to a preliminary examination and understand that I will be bound over to the circuit court on the charges in the complaint. Is that what you wish to do?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Davis, you accept that?
We accept it, Your Honor.
All right, the matter will be bound over to the circuit court for further proceedings. The bond is $25,000, which is not posted. The sooner the better. We were just discussing another case. I think they'll put some speed to this if you are going to go in the program. So the matter will be bound over to the circuit court. Judge Stutzman and the circuit court will have jurisdiction of the matter from here. You have not given up any right to have a trial. You can still have a trial if you wish to, if the matter can't be resolved. But this preserves your plea offer and your consideration for drug treatment court. So you're good to go, Mr. Delp. Thank you.
Thank you, Lucas. We'll be
Thank
moving
you.
on this. We'll be moving on this in the next week or two.
All right. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Now, I think next up is Miss Overton, or maybe I'm not sure who they're bringing in next.
We have William Stollard and Star Overton, I think, still in custody. Right?
And Stollard is a plea?
Yes.
What do we know about Miss Overton?
I don't know. I'm gonna have to go in a breakout room for a few moments with her.
All right, as I said, we're crunching up against lunch, so let's hope for the best.
Booking Deputy Shabbat, how can I help you?
All right, Deputy Shabbat, we're still plugging away. I apologize about the lunch crunch. We need to see William Stollard, Star Overton, and Waterman.
Stallard, Overton, Waterman. All right.
All right, thanks.
Yep.
Bye. What's the plea in Stollard?
A plea to use, Your Honor.
How long's he been in jail?
I believe he's been in jail since May 18th. He's just started out in LaGrange County, I think, when he got picked up.
All right.
Debbie?
Yes.
I think Star Overton's being sentenced by Judge Stutzman on Friday this week.
Oh.
He's
Was she
expect-
thinking 82C?
Well, she's expecting to get 7411 on that, but then this is, so I don't know if this is going to jam that up too. That's why I'm a little unsure what's going on with her case. I didn't really get to tell you that.
All right. Yeah, you might want to just talk to her and see. They may want to adjourn that sentencing.
Good morning, Mr. Stollard. Can you hear me? Is this,
Yeah.
are you Mr. Stollard?
No, I'm
Please.
Mr. Waterman.
Oh, Mr. Waterman, could you trade spots? We want to do Mr. Stollard. Your lawyer, Mr. George, is here. We're going to take up your case in a moment. I'm sorry to interrupt your lunch, but we want to process another case.
That's fine.
Good morning, Mr. Stollard. This is Judge Middleton. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Mr. Stollard, you're charged with a felony offense of possession of methamphetamine in file 202519FY. Prosecutor Deborah Davis is here and your lawyer, Mr. John Bush, is here. They've agreed to dismiss that felony charge, punishable by up to 10 years in prison, for a plea to use of methamphetamine. That is a misdemeanor. It's punishable by up to a year in jail and a fine of up to $2,000. Mr. Bush says you've been in custody since May 18th. The nature of the plea agreement is the felony charge will be dismissed for a plea to a misdemeanor. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Bush, you confirm that?
That's accurate, Judge.
Ms. Davis?
That's accurate, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Stollard, I've dealt with you sometimes over the years. You've always been polite, respectful. Let's talk about this case. Other than this plea agreement, did anybody promise you anything to get you to plead to this?
No, sir.
Or threaten you?
No, sir.
Do you understand that if you plead to this charge, you'll be giving up your right to have a trial in front of a judge or jury? There will be no trial. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
If you had a trial, you'd have the right to be represented by an attorney. Mr. Bush has been appointed to represent you. You could also hire an attorney of your own choosing if you wished. If you had a trial, you'd have the right to have any of the witnesses for or against you subpoenaed to come to court so they could be questioned under oath. And you have the right to be presumed innocent if and until the state was able to prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Now, the complaint says this happened way back in November of 2020. You came out of the woods and you had some basket in your hands and you had some straws with some meth residue. Had you been using some meth on or about that day?
Earlier that day, yes.
All right. Now, you started out in jail. Did they take you to jail that day?
Yes, sir.
All right. August 8th. How long were you in jail then?
Oh, no, they didn't take me then.
All right. All right. When did you get picked up?
LaGrange County brought me up here on the 17th. No. Thursday will be 2 weeks. So what, 12 days ago?
All right. What were you in jail in LaGrange County for?
I got caught with possession and paraphernalia.
All right. Are you done in LaGrange County?
No, I had to serve 30 days, and then it's day for day. So I got 60 days credit, and I got 10 months probation.
All right. I'm going to order 15 days jail credit 12. I'm going to waive the fine and cost. There's no sense putting you on 2 probations. There's a $75 crime victims' rights fee, a $50 state minimum fee, and a $150 attorney fee. It's $275. I'll give you until September 30th to pay that. It appears you're going to get booked out either today or tomorrow, Mr. Stollard. Where are you going to live?
I had to talk with my sister. She lives down in Andrews by Huntington.
All right. Well, you're free to leave the state of Michigan. Your obligations here are completed. All right. You're good to go.
Good luck, sir.
You owe $275.
So you're not sure if it's today or tomorrow?
They'll tell you as they calculate your good time.
All right. Thank you.
All right. I'd really like to see Miss Overton next.
Wish granted.
Good morning, Miss Overton. This is Judge Middleton here at the courthouse. Your lawyer, Mr. Bush, is with us, and Deborah Davis is here with us. This is file 211223FY, People versus Star B. Overton, charged with possession of methamphetamine. While we're waiting for you, Mr. Bush indicated you got a case in front of Judge Stutzman on Friday, and this case could affect that. So I'm not sure what we should do here. Adjourn this 2 weeks, set it for prelim next week, or if she's being considered for a probation and she's got a pending methamphetamine charge, it certainly could affect that.
I would ask the court to just adjourn it to it so we can find out what the circuit court does on Friday.
Star, do you have any objection to adjourning this matter for 2 weeks?
No.
Who's your attorney? Are you the attorney in the circuit court case also, John?
No, I believe Christine Yancey represents her.
I mean, John, does she want to consider doing ADTC? If so, I'd rather just have her waive if that's her intention, and then we can start the process.
Well, yeah, start, do you want, we talked, do you want to try and get into the drug court? You told me you did.
Yeah, I guess I just don't know much details about it and how that's gonna work if I'm gonna be going on 7411.
Well, and I'm not, I guess there's issues to determine. I don't even know that you can be on both at the same time.
I don't think she can. I think the safest bet is to adjourn this, Deborah, rather than do a waiver where she doesn't understand things. Star, at one point you were charged with stealing a car. Is that case all resolved?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Weren't you charged with taking somebody's car?
My police report for a 2019 charge that was dropped, it had auto theft on there, but I was never charged for it, and the car was in my name.
All right, I think it got dropped, as I recall. All right, we're going to continue this PEC for June 13th.
Just have to be July 13th.
July 13th. Thank you, John. I'm getting punchy at 9
Been a long
a.m.
morning.
And preliminary examination for 7/20/21 at 1. Defendant waives 14 days on the record. All right, Ms. Overton, your lawyer will be in contact with you and you can discuss this with Ms. Yancey on Friday. The two lawyers and the prosecutor will talk among each other. All right, you're good to go.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Star.
All right, that finishes you, John, I think. Oh, we have a couple of no-shows we need to address.
We just have to make a record on those, and I believe I'm done.
Chad Morningstar, in possession of methamphetamine, failed to appear. I don't have a phone number here. Do a bench warrant.
I talked to him yesterday. I talked to him yesterday afternoon. I really expected him to be here today.
I'll do a 48-hour hold. Garrett Snyder, financial transaction device. Let's make sure he's not in jail. No. Yeah, he's in custody.
Oh, did not know that.
All right.
I was told on June 23rd he had bonded out.
Oh, wait a minute. I'm looking at the wrong thing. He's not in custody.
I went to the jail to see him that day.
All right, bench warrant, $10,000 bond, 48-hour hold.
I've never met him.
All right. All right. Thank you, John.
Thank you, Debbie.
No problem. Good seeing you, John.
All right, Mr. Waterman, thank you for your patience. This is file 21744FY, People versus Joshua Waterman. The file is breaking and entering a building and malicious destruction of a building, less than $20,000. Those are both felony charges. Let's see how long you've been in jail. He's been in jail for 80 days. This matter was subject to some psychological evaluation. Let me get back into the file. And your lawyer has filed a motion to reduce bond. He is requesting that if you are released, you continue to take all your prescribed medication. You reside with your employer in White Pigeon and not leave the state of Michigan. Take all your medications and don't get in any other trouble. Mr. George, as we were waiting for this, you indicated he has completed his forensic center evaluation and interview.
That's correct, Your Honor. That was completed last week at the jail. Clearly, as the court knows, we're simply just waiting for that report to be filed. With the amount of time that it took to get the evaluation done, I'm not sure how long that report will take. Obviously, at that point, then the court would have 5 days to set a hearing. And then based on whatever happens there, we would move forward. But I know that the court is a little crunch for time this morning, but I do appreciate taking this matter up. I would rest mostly on the motion. I think that at the time, due to the circumstances, the magistrate and the prosecutor both felt that it was sufficient for Mr. Waterman to have a timeout. And that was the reason for the high bond. In communications with him, he indicates that he is now taking his medication, has had some sobriety, and would like to have the ability to work while he's awaiting, pending court hearings on his case. He does indicate that he would be living with his employer in White Pigeon, and that he would come to my office, most likely in Sturgis, to participate if those are remote. Or obviously if they were in person at that point, that he could come into Centerville to take care of any of these upcoming hearings. But at this point, the $50,000 bond is essentially no bond for my client. As the court indicated, he's been in custody for 80 days and we haven't really gotten out of the district court level yet. So pursuant to our request, I believe that a PR bond is appropriate. If the court wasn't inclined to do a PR bond, we would simply ask that a 10% provision be added so that he would be able to meet that and continue on while this case works through the system. Thank you, Your Honor.
Deborah, what's your position?
Well, Your Honor, I reviewed the bond motion, the jail incident reports, the contact that we've had with the family members. It's very clear that Mr. Waterman needed some medication when he went to the jail, which he did not take with him. It resulted in a lot of incidents for the corrections officers, but to his credit, we haven't had an incident report since May 1st. So that's a positive. It's been about almost 2 months now then that he hasn't had any issues. And I think that probably goes to show the effectiveness of his medication now that he's taking it. So I understand the issues that were presented by Mr. George. I would leave it to the court's discretion as far as what to set the bond at, but it is potentially unreachable for him the way it is set right now. He does have family members that were willing to keep an eye on him, apparently an employer that's willing to keep an eye on him. There's a significant amount of restitution with this case, and it would be nice to see Mr. Waterman out and being productive, hopefully saving up some money to pay the restitution depending on the outcome of this case. So with that, I'd leave it to the court. Thank you.
Well, this was destruction of tombs. It wasn't charged as that. This was in the cemetery.
This actually,
No,
that's a different one. This is the one with the Constantine Public Schools. And there's around $10,000, part of it to the school, part of it to the
Cemetery, tombstones destroyed. Oh, let me look at the actual complaint. So there were tombstones and the school?
He was suspected of the tombstones, but I don't believe that there was enough there to charge. This is just the school.
Let me look, is there an affidavit in here? the booking form or the bond information form refers primarily to the MDOP of tombstones in April of 21, April 10th. So the bond information report refers to damaging tombstones. The complaint charges something else. There is a request for, is this competency evaluation?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes.
There it is. And it does take a long time for that to occur. I signed it back April 27th, and he just had the evaluation now. So it may take several more months to await the result. And then have a hearing. But this is serious stuff. I am troubled that there's the bond information report is about one crime, and the tombs are $3,000. And this, I don't have any information about the damage at the school. Look at this. Mr. Waterman, what kind of work are you going to be doing?
Painting,
Painting what?
interior and exterior houses.
This boss of yours, where does he live?
409 West Hodgin, White Pigeon.
All right. Does he have a family?
Yeah. He lives
Where's
with
your
his mom.
All right. How old is he?
I think he's in his late 30s.
All right. Yeah, the jail had emailed Judge Pattison and I back in April. He does seem to be doing better. I am still troubled that there's absolutely nothing in this file that has anything to do with the schools. It must have been a warrantless arrest.
He was found at the scene of the school with damage done to the interior.
Maliciously destroyed windows, key card readers, fire alarms, deployed fire extinguishers. All right, I'm going to reduce the bond to $2,500 cash assured with all the conditions. Take all meds as prescribed. Do not leave the state. Must be employed. Not set foot on any Constantine school property. On any. Or the Constantine Township Cemetery. Cooperate with the Forensic Center. Keep all appointments. Cooperate with CMH or other mental health provider. Anything further you'd like in there?
No, I believe that covers it, Your Honor.
All right, I'll do a formal order to that effect here in just a moment. All right, Mr. Waterman, I'm sorry, you can go get some lunch. You're free to go. Hopefully your friend can post that bond. If not, you're gonna sit there for a while longer until this matter is resolved. All right, you're good to go. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. George, for your patience. That was set for 11. It took us 45 minutes to get to it, but.
That's okay. I appreciate you guys taking that on short notice.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Deborah, for all your help on our busy morning. Started at 10 to 8 and it's now 10 to 12. I got sobriety court. I'll see you tomorrow.
All right, take care.
Thank you. All right, that ends our morning. We're going to stop the live feed.